the game for a few years anyways. Dumbass.
Yeah, what a fucking stupid way to end a promising career. But
Yep.
fuck him. He's a fucking piece of shit. So
Yeah, I'm a Kevin Harvick fan, so he can go away. Don't care. Less competition, my guy.
It's one of those things where it's just like,
What were you
how did
thinking?
you not realize?
What were you fucking thinking? Like, really?
Seriously.
Well, probably wasn't.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm like, yeah, but like when I fucking plug my thing into Twitch and start streaming,
Yeah.
the commentary that I make is far different, and I have two people watching me. I'm aware enough.
And you don't even say that stuff when you're not streaming.
But I'm aware enough to be like, oh, I should probably make like.
I should probably be mindful.
Think about the way that I'm talking. And that fucking dumbass is just like, God, what an idiot.
What a loser. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I am your host, Patrick the Law Morris. Joining me this week, we have gorgeous Ben Reynolds.
Meow.
And the tenacious Tim Miller. Oh, that's a nice intro sound, baby.
I try.
Coming up on episode 119 of Hard Reset, we will be talking about, Ben and Tim were just discussing a little bit, but we'll be talking about a little bit of a NASCAR debacle, specifically pertaining to video games. We're also going to be talking about some delays that have happened, as well as the PlayStation 5 controller. We took last week off, had a little bit of a technical difficulty last week, so we're back. We're going to be talking about last week's news this week, and there wasn't a whole lot of news this week, so...
I don't know. I think there's one big piece of news, at least for me anyways.
Okay. I want to hear about it. But before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing this week. Ben, tell me what you've been playing.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and guess that Tim and I have pretty much been playing the same thing for the most part. And it is the same thing that your wife probably has over 200 hours into now.
Last I checked, she was at 165, but that was
Christ.
a day and a half ago. So that was last night. So she's probably closer to 180 by now.
All right. I keep calling it Jill's Quest for 1,000.
I mean, so we all heard about the Animal Crossing grandma a couple of years ago. And
wait, I don't know if I did.
Oh, so yeah. This person went to their grandma's house, and his grandma's 3DS was dying. And he knew that she plays Animal Crossing. So he got her a 2DS XL so that she could keep playing Animal Crossing. And when he was transferring all of her content, all of her data onto the 2DS XL, he saw that she had at the time about 3,100 hours in Animal Crossing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which seems like a lot. And I thought it was, because I'm not very familiar with the series. Turns out Animal Crossing numbers, it is a lot, but it's not unheard of.
The thing that I just don't understand what Jill does all day when she just plays all day.
Yeah.
I get on and I play for 2 hours and I'm like, all right, well, I don't have anything else to do, I guess, kind of. And that's if I really play long and play pretty hard. And I'm like, well, I guess I could just wander around and fish some more, but I don't really have a reason to.
You guys riff about Animal Crossing for 1 minute. I'm going to go ask if she wants to come and explain to you guys what she does all day.
All right. I'm actually into that. Tim, how's your island coming along? What have you got so far?
So I just upgraded my house for the second time, so I just got my upstairs.
or third time. I don't know how many fucking times.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more than the second time, because the second time is when I got like excited because I was like, oh, the second time I'm gonna get like a second room or something.
Okay,
He just expands it out like a tiny bit. I was just like, you fucking kidding me? That's all you're gonna
so
give
it's
me
time
right
like
now?
4, 5, or 6. I don't know. I've lost count at this point, but I've gotten upstairs now, so that's great. And I started spacing out my orchard a little bit better, and I'm building more bridges and stairways. But
visiting Jill yesterday, I now have all the different fruit trees, and then
Very
I
nice.
also have I've got my second bridge built, and I just moved Nook's Cranny, and I'm working on my first incline.
Very nice.
But yeah, now Jill, tell us, what exactly do you do all day in Animal Crossing?
Well, yesterday I bought 180 roses. So
But that wasn't until like last night. That was like pretty late yesterday.
yeah, so today I've spent all freaking day messing up my entire island, trying to find a spot to put my roses, and now I hate my entire island, so I have to move everything.
Oh man.
That sounds pretty depressing.
Today I spent all day trying to build my rooftop garden into a hybrid garden, like planting all the flowers in specific places so that they would crossbreed with each other.
Whoa, that's way further than I am.
Mm-mm-mm.
And it took too long. And now I have a bunch of random flowers everywhere, and it's really messy. And so I have to start over.
And see, I guess one of the things that I get the most pleasure out of in the game is messing with Jill. Like yesterday when I had her come to my
Did you
island.
steal all my fossils? I was wondering this morning when I woke up.
Yep, I came and stole all your fossils.
Oh my god.
I also like to make a mess on Jill's island and then just leave and not pick anything up. It's just kind of one of my favorite hobbies in Animal Crossing.
What were you doing yesterday when I kicked you out because I couldn't find you?
I think I honestly was actually just sitting in your museum, and I had actually walked away from my Switch, I was doing something completely different. And when you just kicked me out, I just decided to tell you that it was rude.
Because I had to go get the roses.
Well,
because you only sent me one rose.
Well, in my defense, I only bought 15, and I needed 14 of them. And actually, I really needed 18.
Okay, you needed
So
18,
I sent you one
and I bought 180. To be fair,
I sent you one of the 4 that I could have used.
I gave 60 each to 2 of my friends, so I only kept 60 roses, and then I gave away 120.
I paid 2,000 bells toward Tim's buddy's bridge because he helped me make a good amount of money.
I couldn't.
planted.
It was too hard to get onto his island. It was annoying me so badly. Because so many people were trying to get on his island at the same time.
Yeah, price, he kind of put it out on Reddit, and it blew up.
I planted a tree with 99,999 bells, so I'm gonna triple it.
So I found out that doesn't work past 30,000.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, so then what's gonna happen? Did I just fuck myself?
No, it's just gonna be 30,000 bells.
But if I put 99,000,
yeah, you're losing about 60,000 bells.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That really fucking.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way the other day.
Damn it! I wish you guys had told me that.
Well, I didn't know.
I didn't think to mention it. I was like, well, fuck me. So.
Yeah, I just wasted a lot of fucking bells.
You'll get them back. We'll have good turnips again next week.
True. It's true.
But yeah, 558 was really good. Couple million right there this week for me. So, been doing a lot of projects now.
She's done talking to you guys. She wants to go back and play Animal Crossing.
That's not surprising. Not in the least.
So did she pick to be an old lady because she wanted to be the Animal Crossing grandma? Like because her Animal Crossing character looks like an old lady.
You would have to take that up with her. I did not know that her Animal Crossing character looks like an old lady.
It's weird.
So, now that you two have discussed Animal Crossing at length, I finished Doom Eternal this weekend. And that game is fucking awesome. That game was amazing. So
I just didn't have any interest, but I've talked about how I didn't really enjoy the 2016 one.
I mean, it's fine to each their own. Like, I can kind of see how it wouldn't really grab you as far, not like you specifically, but I can see how some people wouldn't be interested. But this one, I really feel like just takes everything about Doom 2016, which is a game that I loved, and just cranks everything up to 11. And so, like, Tim, I think you liked it, right?
Oh,
I did. I liked the multiplayer more than I did the campaign.
Yeah.
But it was very, very good.
Yeah. So Tim, I think that you would like it. Ben, I think that you should try it. Because if you get the chance to like try it without spending too much money or spending any money, you should try it because it does take everything about Doom 2016 and makes it all better. And it turns everything up. So I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing.
I'm more interested to try Resident Evil 3.
Oh, you haven't started that yet?
Yeah.
It's really good from what I've seen. So,
well, yeah. So I'm actually really close to finishing that one, but I was going to talk about that one next week. But if you want, we can talk about it right now.
Oh, no, we don't need to. We can talk about it next week. I was just if I was going to pay to start a game, I'd be more interested in starting that one. But with that and now I've got to play Ori and stuff. Like I've got a fair amount of games to play. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm going to be starting Final Fantasy VII tomorrow. So,
yep. So there's actually something I wanted to talk about with Resident Evil. Because that doesn't require people to have played the game. Because Ben, you had mentioned this to me. You said that it looks more like DLC. And
well, I read a review that said it was a spoiler for a review that said it felt more like DLC.
Yeah, and that's actually a conversation I've seen going around a lot. Which, having played the game, I totally agree with. It really, really, it feels like, I mean, arguably if it were DLC, it would be amongst the best DLC of all time. But it does feel like DLC. But that's also because originally RE3 was kind of just DLC for RE2, just before DLC existed. It was just like, let's take everything, because originally Resident Evil 3 Nemesis wasn't Resident Evil 3. It was just a spin-off. It was Resident Evil Nemesis. And it was essentially them just saying like, let's just do it all again, but like a little bit differently. Like let's take everything that we did in Resident Evil 2 and just make another campaign. And then it, like, they for some reason decided to slap the 3 name on it because Code Veronica I don't think was coming along as quickly as they were wanting it to. But essentially that's what it was. And for $60, which, like, I think that a lot of publishers charge $60 for DLC. I mean, that happens all the time, right? People charge for season passes. And my thinking is like there is a very fleshed out, not super well received multiplayer component, but there is a multiplayer game there and a whole nother campaign. I feel like even if it is just DLC, like if it was DLC, I think that this would be well worth $60. The reason it's getting hate is because they boxed it up and called it a new game.
Well, but if it was like, because I guess the people that I was seeing were saying that it seemed like it was like $15. It should have been like a $15 installment of DLC rather than like a $60.
No, I think 15.
Like a $60 is that's like $4 or $15. Like, because when DLC started to really first become a thing, they were like always $15 packs. Usually, it seemed like and they didn't. Most of the I guess like Grand Theft Auto introduced DLC stories, but before that, it was mostly just DLC as like extra maps for multiplayer. It seems like.
Yeah. And so I think that like, I don't know. I think $15 is people being very greedy. Like wanting to pay $15 for what this game has is people really expecting way too much. I think Capcom charging $60 is honestly, it's Capcom being a little bit greedy. I think that $40 would have really been the sweet spot. That would have been a good balance between, what's right for the customer and what's right for the publisher. But that being said, at $60, this isn't laughable. It's not a laughable amount of content for $60. It's like, you gotta like it because if you don't like I loved Resident Evil 2. And so a whole nother campaign of that with new elements and like a multiplayer suite, that's easily worth $60 to me. But for someone that didn't like Resident Evil 2 as much as I did, probably not worth $60 to them. But I feel like is the multiplayer unbalanced or is it just what is the multiplayer? The multiplayer is asymmetrical. So it's basically someone is like setting traps for 4 other people.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean it's interesting, it's unique. From what I've heard it's not good, but at least they tried something.
Yeah.
And so I think separating them out, like $20 for the multiplayer, $20 for the campaign would have been extremely fair, would have been like very, very reasonable. $30 for each, I feel like is maybe a little bit greedy for Capcom, but totally like, I don't regret paying $60 for this game.
Fair enough.
But,
fair enough.
Tim, Ben, I know you were planning on buying it. Tim, are you going to buy this game?
Which game?
Resident Evil.
No, I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan outside of 4. All the rest of them have been kind of meh, in my opinion. So, if they do remake that one, I'll probably get that just for nostalgia's sake. But otherwise, probably going to be a huge pass for me.
Well, thanks for the amazing segue. It's time for the news at now.
The news show. It's the news show. We are now a news show, so we bring you news.
Okay, so news it now. Speaking of Resident Evil remakes and Resident Evil 4 specifically, rumor is there is a Resident Evil 4 remake in development.
At M2, correct?
Yep, at M2. They were a support studio on RE2 and 3. And so the rumor is that this game is going to come out in 2022. So 2019 was RE2, 2020 is RE3, 2021 is the rumored Resident Evil 8. And then 2022 would be RE4 Remake.
That's a lot of Resident Evil in a short amount of time.
It is. They seem to be trying to move to the annualize, but in a very smart way. Like, one of my things is I just don't want, like, I don't like it when games are annualized in a way that is a new entry every year. But to remake a game, like to remake one of the older games, I feel like isn't as, I don't know, offensive. But Ben, you said that you were thinking about dipping back into RE7 because
the thought had crossed my mind. Just because I have 5.1 surround in my living room now, and I thought that would make for a fun, immersive experience.
Yes,
but,
it would.
I have not done so.
RE7 was amazing. I loved that game.
It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me too.
Yeah, I did not make it very far in that game because of it.
I don't think anyone made it. I think everyone made it further than Ben.
Did you make it to the house, Ben?
It's when you're fighting your girlfriend in the upstairs, and she I shot her in the face 4 times, and it didn't do anything, and she just kept coming at me and killing me, and then I was just I have no idea what to do, and I was just this is fucking terrifying. Fuck this, I'm done, and just put it down instead of looking it up.
Yeah, I made this stupid decision to play it in VR. So.
Not stupid decision, great decision.
Nope, stupid decision. Ripped the headset right off of me. Fell out of my chair. It was great.
Yeah, I felt like I tipped my whole chair over playing that game, and very scary, very awesome.
Never again.
No, you should. Nope. I think it would be fun to
Nope.
If next time we all get together to do a let's play with either you or Ben playing in VR.
Nope.
Ben, do you think you could do that game in VR?
I don't know, maybe.
Nope.
Well,
all the nope.
Yeah, Tim's not down. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stoked about the idea of more Resident Evil, especially Resident Evil 8, because the rumor on 8 is that it's going to be first person and support PSVR, and that was 7 is my favorite Resident Evil because it was in VR
and supports PSVR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then also getting back to the Resident Evil 4. I trust Capcom because they've just crushed it with RE2 and RE3, but I just feel like Resident Evil 4 doesn't really need a remake as much as 2 and 3 did.
4 don't know, because 4 is back in the mansion, isn't it?
No, that's 0.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
0's on the train. 4 is in Spain.
What's the one where you go back to the mansion? Isn't there another one where you're in the mansion besides 1?
Isn't that Code Veronica?
No, I thought Code Veronica was in Alaska. Maybe you end up in the mansion in 0?
I don't fucking remember.
I don't either.
We'll look into it. 4 is the one in Spain.
Yep.
With the cult.
Okay.
You play as Leon.
Well, then are they going to redo 5, 6, and 7 too? Even
so, there's no way they would redo 7 because 7 is a current gen game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's enough love for 5 and 6 for them to redo those games. I feel like maybe they kind of just want to forget 5 and 6 exist.
Yeah, I think stopping at 4 would be a really good idea. I mean, I think 5 and 6 are new enough that you can still get them very easily.
Yeah, and also they re-released them.
Yeah, and I don't think you can really do much for remaking them, like besides give them a graphic update.
Yeah.
So it's Umbrella Chronicles and then Deadly Silence.
Oh, okay. So spin-offs.
But they also haven't remade the first game since 2002?
Yeah, so there was the GameCube remake of Resident Evil 1, which honestly, like Resident Evil 1, if I could choose for them to remake in the same style of 2 and 3,
remake Resident Evil 1.
I would prefer 1 and 0 over 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like 1 is just such a slam dunk as far as like obviously remake this game.
Very true.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see where Resident Evil goes over the next couple of years. Regardless, Resident Evil never never totally sold me. I was never hooked on Resident Evil until Resident Evil 7, but since then, 7, 2, and now 3, I fucking love Resident Evil. So I'm super excited about 8. I'm super excited about whatever they choose to remake next, whether it be 4 or Code Veronica or 1. Personally, I would choose 1, but we'll see where it goes. For our next story, though, Tim, I want you to take the reins. I want you to talk to me about NASCAR.
All right. So, as we all know, since Corona has completely uprooted everything in the world,
including
NASCAR,
all sports,
NASCAR has decided to go digital, as in their drivers are racing online using some platform. I don't know exactly which because I just don't care.
Apparently, it's like some really expensive platform that a lot of these drivers utilize to train.
Yeah, it's probably some like super expensive simulation program.
Yeah, that's what I had heard based on that's what I had heard essentially.
Yeah. But recently, a certain driver by the name of Kyle Larson, decided it would be a good idea to say a very bad word on live TV.
Yep,
the
Kyle,
N-word
we can all hear you,
specifically.
On Fox Sports.
On Fox Sports. And he's now been let go. He's been fired because of it. And
all of his sponsors dropped him immediately. And then he was fired a few days later.
A couple days later, yeah.
With good reason.
Absolutely. There's no
excuse for that.
Yeah, there's no excusing, and especially in a moment of it was very clearly, and I'm not I want to be very clear about this. I'm not in favor of cancel culture. Oh, so and so did this 10 years ago or whatever. But this, dude, you're live streaming. This is very obviously something that you feel comfortable saying in your personal life.
Yep.
If you said it when you didn't think people were watching, it's just very much a showing of true colors, I think. So
yeah, I mean, he was pissed off. He got enraged. He used it. There's no excuse. Yeah, it's a fucking video game, dude. It's not. You're not even racing real cars. Shit's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because there is some prize money for winning and stuff, so there is that, but it's still that does not make it a.
Oh yeah.
He's still gonna get paid by his sponsors and all this other shit.
Yeah, exactly. So you're still a professional fucking athlete.
You're out there. You're getting paid for this. I mean, you're getting paid for this shit, and you're talking like you're a 12-year-old playing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Jesus Christ!
Get it together. I mean, I think that this is pretty funny. I think it's not funny in that he said it. I think it's funny that it's someone. It's very. I feel like it's very telling a clear misunderstanding or someone or lack of understanding of a medium that he just has very little experience with.
Well, I think it's kind of the thing that's really funny about this is that I heard that NASCAR was doing this simulation and they were like live streaming video games, and I was like, oh, we should talk about this on the podcast. And then like 2 days later, I heard this story, and I was just like, well, now we have to talk about this too.
Yeah. Looking at the topic in a broader sense, like you were suggesting, Ben, I do think that this is really cool because I think that NASCAR in particular is uniquely
NBA
outfitted.
Is doing stuff too. I think we talked about that a little bit 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, NBA is doing stuff with 2K, but I think that it's much like there's much more of an argument to be made that like that driving a NASCAR game can be much more of a sim than
yes, absolutely.
NBA.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to simulate
undeniable. That's
than playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And so because Ben, I mean, like you and I are both pretty good at 2K, and I think that you're probably better than I am at basketball.
Dude, have you watched any of the like footage of the games that the dudes have been playing against each other?
No,
they are fucking absurd at 2K. But that's the thing about it is because like if you're a professional athlete, it's like, okay, I get up, I go to practice, I eat, and like somebody makes me my food. So it's not like I have to fucking cook for myself. I have a private chef or whatever. And so I'm just chilling, playing video games when I'm not fucking.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I get like, and that is the thing that has become the most apparent to me is that because they also have insane reflexes too. And so their hand-eye is better. Like if professional athletes wanted to become professional gamers, they'd probably blow all the professional gamers out of the fucking water. Honestly.
I mean, at certain games, maybe. I think like that they would definitely.
They've muscles and their reflexes.
Yeah, they've fine-tuned their reflexes to a similar level as like professional gamers have. It's just a matter of understanding the game.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like if they put their time into it, the time into it that a professional gamer did.
Yeah, maybe.
Then it might be over.
Yeah, and so I mean, it is like there is that skill set, but I feel like NASCAR is very uniquely equipped to kind of make this transition into quarantine and kind of, I mean, maybe miss a couple beats, but like not really miss a beat in the same way that like NBA, MLB, NHL, really anyone is going to. And just, I mean, it probably wouldn't be as exciting to broadcast a bunch of people, like these people playing Sims, but like.
So
they got to do what they got to do, and it's working for them.
Yeah.
Aside from this incident,
I have also heard about people who are broadcasting. I think it's on the radio, but they're calling simulated games on. Is MLB the Show out?
I think the show is out. They're calling it like real games.
Yeah, they're calling simulated games between two computer simulations. And they're pretending like it may actually even just be like a web series or something. Actually, it may not be on the radio, like a podcast or something. But it's like, and they're actually like treating it like they're like it's actually happening in real time, and like they're calling the games. And I can't remember who was doing it, but I heard about it last week, and I was like, "That's fucking insane." But hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think that's really
they're
cool,
like talking about it like as if the play, like they're like, oh yeah, he was, and because like the way that the game works now is it takes into account their statistics from like the end of last season, and so they're like, well, yeah, so like last season he was
finished up with like 40 home runs. Let's see if he can beat that this
exactly.
year.
And they're like actually like talking. It's fucking like I think it was on NPR that I heard that story about it, and I was just like.
Nice.
Wow.
it's a very strange and unique time that we're living in right now, that a lot of people, a lot more mainstream crowds are turning to video games and adapting them in ways that like appeal to them, appeal to those mainstream crowds that we, because we're on a video game podcast for 80 people a week. So like I don't like the term like hardcore gamer, but like I would say that we are very much a part of that very like in crowd, as far as like we're in the know on these things. And so there are all these ways that like the mainstream is adapting video games to be more digestible for a larger audience that we haven't thought of, that we haven't had to approach in that way. And I think that it is absolutely fascinating.
It's the one thing that's really funny to me is like all these people who are like realizing just now that playing video games with your friends is a good way to like actually like hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. While not being in the same place. It's like, you think?
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember there was one time that Ethan and I were going to play, and I had kind of just blown it off thinking it wasn't that big a deal. And Ethan was like, no, like we had plans. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, like, yeah, we did. And then I like felt like a dick for blowing him off. But then I was like, ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, no, like online plans, even if you have plans to stay home and like just, which hopefully everyone has plans to stay home right now. But like, even if your plans are just, I'm going to stay home and play video games online with my friends, those are plans. So, but yeah, so it's an interesting thing. It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm glad this guy got fired. It'll be interesting to see how these things continue to develop. Moving on though.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yes, please.
I'm just waiting for the Olympics to be fully canceled and replaced with Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Just not gonna do Olympics 2021. Just do Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Yep.
Live streamed on Twitch.
Yeah, just have the Chinese gymnastic team versus LeBron James or something, and we'll call it good.
The Chinese or Dr. Eggman.
Yeah,
but the Chinese, because the Chinese gymnastics team would all be like 7, so they would probably be better.
Yeah, you're right. They would all have to be like Tails.
Yeah, that would work.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, no, that would be really funny. But in a little bit sadder news, Iron Man VR, but more notably, The Last of Us Part 2 have both been delayed indefinitely.
Wasn't Marvel's Avengers too?
I didn't hear about that one, but let's see if we can.
I thought I had seen that.
Let's see if we can verify that real quick. But this is kind of a big hit, I feel like. And I'm just wondering, like, what do you guys think this spells for the game?
I mean, I think
production's just stopped and halted because of COVID. That's really all it is. They'll come out. It's just their production team can't put in like the full effort at this time to get them finished. So,
but the thing to me that seems weird about that is it's like, but well, I guess maybe if like if it's like certain people don't have like fast enough internet speeds or something, but it seems like that a lot of that stuff. Why wouldn't they be able to do that from home?
So
I mean, other than making physical discs that have it on that, but that's going to be mostly machines that do that.
Yeah. So Ben, you make a good point. I think that games like Minecraft Dungeons, I think a lot of games, definitely saw a little bit of a stumble as far as like development. Minecraft Dungeons got pushed, I think it was like a month or 6 weeks. It got pushed from April to May. And so I think that happens, but I think most developers have got it figured out. Perfect example being Moon Studio that made the Ori games. They're just all work from home, and they always have been. Like they don't have a main office. They're just all over the world, and they share assets with each other. And they've made 2 award-winning games like that.
I suppose at that point, though, you do need to be able to trust all of your developers and like trust them to be able to manage their own time.
Yeah, that and that's something that a lot of industries are struggling with right now. Yeah. But I don't think it's necessarily a development challenge. I think they probably have contracts with retailers, and they can't get physical copies out to stores as quickly as they would need to. And so,
of China.
Yeah.
Fucking China and the Chinese coronavirus. No, just being facetious. If you can't tell by the fact that I'm saying China.
Yeah.
Like the president does.
But no, so I think it's probably more a contractual agreement with physical retailers. And because Iron Man VR, not so much, but like Last of Us Part 2 is one of the biggest releases of the PlayStation 4. Just hands down. And so I'm thinking, like, do you guys think that it'll get pushed far enough out to be a PS5 launch title?
Well, that's honestly what I was just thinking when you were mentioning it.
Yeah, I imagine both of the games
it'll be a dual release.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because they've got to have a PS5 version in the chamber, right?
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm. I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Exactly. And so, like,
or even if they didn't, they're just like, well, we're going to delay these indefinitely
and make one.
To make sure that we have the PS5 version ready for release at the same time.
Yeah, now that's a very good, like, that's a total possibility, I think, is that, like, even if they didn't, now they're busting ass to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And to have a dual release that straddles the generation, that, like, you know, I mean, Breath of the Wild did it, and Breath of the Wild saw huge success. Twilight Princess did it. Like, to have a major first party title that's available to 100 million PS4 owners, 100 million plus, and then also, but like, to also be able to say, like, hey, but the best place to play this is on the PlayStation 5. I would buy the PS5 version, no doubt.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to get it, then yeah, I'd probably be heading towards the PS5 version if it's going to be a dual release. But as you all know, I have no care for Last of Us.
Yeah, that's right. You're not into it.
Yeah.
Tim does not like to be the last.
I'm not into The Last of Us as much as I am into Zelda. And for Zelda, I have both versions of Breath of the Wild, and I have all 3 versions of Twilight Princess. So I just buy them both for Zelda.
Well, la-ti-da.
Well, la-ti-fucking-da. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I think The Last of Us Part 2 could end up being a really killer launch title. And the fact that Ghost of Tsushima hasn't been delayed yet kind of makes me think that that's the direction they're headed, because they were sitting pretty with Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima coming out like month after month. But Ghost of Tsushima, I think, is enough to carry them through the summer. And then they'll get to the third-party releases in the fall, and then Last of Us Part 2 could be their launch title to go up against Halo Infinite when PS5 and Xbox Series X come out. So we will all keep our ears to the ground on this one, and I'm sure that we'll be updating this story in the coming weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Woo! So last story of the night is the DualSense controller. So in kind of a surprise announcement on the PlayStation blog, Sony unveiled the DualSense, which is the PlayStation 5 controller. They showed it to us, and I want to know what you guys thought of it.
It looks like a white boomerang.
Yeah, I like the design. I don't like the white coloration. It looks way better colored black. Someone did do a quick mock-up of that.
For sure.
But it looks nice. It looks comfy. I'm excited to try it out. And hopefully like they keep the same kind of sticks from the DualShock 4 because those ones are absolutely fantastic.
Oh, you like those sticks?
The ends of them.
Yeah, I mean at launch, the rubber was really soft.
Even the newer rubber's still not great. The Xbox sticks are far superior.
Yeah, so that's kind of I was wanting to get your perspective as well, Ben, because you and I both use the Elite Series 2 on Xbox, and I honestly can't imagine a controller being better.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
And so like I'm looking at this DualSense and I'm thinking that's great, but like I already have not only does Xbox have a better controller, but I already have it. So and plus Tim, I'm totally with you. I think the white layered on the black looks pretty stupid.
Well, and then like all of the cool patents that we saw them fucking take out in the last year, they just didn't utilize any of them.
Any of them. And then on top of that, they decided to put a fucking microphone array in it. I'm actually kind of intrigued by. Okay, explain.
Because if it works at the way that they're saying, then fucking cool. But like other people were saying, like privacy, PlayStation is gonna have exact copy of your voice. But supposedly the way that the microphone array works is it's going to the microphones are going to be smart enough that they will not pick up the sound around you, but they will pick up your voice, so that then you can be like the microphone will be smart enough that it will just listen for you. And then you can literally just be chatting without a headset on. And so as someone who has 5.1 surround sound in their living room, I'm like, oh, if I could just be playing fucking in a chat and if everybody had just the same thing where it was just talking in the microphone and it actually does work, then there's going to be a lot less fucking
yeah. So
echo, and like fucking just dumb shit that you fucking have to deal with in chats. So that one, while like initially I was kind of like, oh, that's weird. After a while, I was kind of like, oh no, actually that could be really cool if it works as well as they're touting it to.
See, and that's where I hesitate, is if it works as well as they're saying it's going to. Because like that's best case scenario, and if that's how it turns out, that's fucking awesome. Like I'm totally on board with that. But I don't see it working out that way. I'm nervous that it's gonna be, that everyone is gonna be just, oh, I don't need to buy a headset. I've just got a microphone on my controller, and it's going to be very, very obnoxious.
PlayStation, play Despacito.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be so fucking obnoxious.
How do you want it to play Despacito?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Despacito.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it turns out. Any last thoughts on the DualSense controller, guys?
I think it'll make a good back scratcher.
A good back scratcher, and 6
5
senses.
senses. So why does it only have 2?
Yeah, it's clear. You're clearly better than the controller, Ben.
Well, especially when they were telling me that they were going to make it sense the sweat on my hands.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Heart rate. Fuck.
So I guess actually one last quick hit before we go. A voice actor who has starred in many games. Oh, Ben did a quick hit. A voice actor who has starred in many video games has passed away. So Rick May, was that his name, Tim?
Yep.
Rick May, the voice of is he the tank?
The soldier from Team Fortress 2. He's also voiced Peppy Hare from Star Fox 64, the original. Dr. M in Sly 3. Plus a bunch of other characters. So
the man who
Peppy is the one who says
do a barrel roll.
Yep.
Has passed away.
Yep. Died
So everyone,
the 13th or 14th from coronavirus.
everyone do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. Pour one out for Rick May.
My chair won't turn.
Oh, Ben spun all the way around. Now he's going to pull the speaker down off his wall. But Rick May has passed away. Very sad, and we'll all be doing barrel rolls in his honor. But right now, it's time for the weekly trivia challenge.
Oh boy! I can't wait to fail. I don't know about that. I've gotten it wrong like the past 3 times.
Okay. So we were just talking about the DualSense controller, and I want you both to show me your hands because I don't want any cheating. The DualShock 4. Yep, there you go. The DualShock 4, well, it's got buttons on it. How many buttons are on the DualShock 4? Is it A, 18, B, 19, C, 21, or D, 22? You guys are both counting in your heads.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, just full disclosure, I'm counting the touchpad as a button. I'm counting clicking in the sticks as buttons. And I'm counting the arrows as buttons.
Are we counting analog movement like up, down, left, right on the sticks as buttons? Okay.
If it clicks, it's a button. A, 18, B, 19, C,
I'm going to go with A.
21, D, 22.
I'm going to go with A, 18.
You guys are both going A, final answer?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both incorrect.
Excuse me?
It is B, 19.
Where? Oh, I fucking forgot options and share. God damn it.
That's not where you messed up.
Yes, it is. I was literally looking at a fucking DualShock.
Oh, okay.
What?
So we all have
1, 2,
we all
3,
have
4,
our
5,
controllers
6,
in front
7,
of
8,
us.
9, 10.
You're the PS button, bro. And then the PS button.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm counting 18.
Tim, you're missing one. I want you to flip your controller over.
You're counting the fucking reset button?
Is it a button? Because you just described it as a button.
I don't think that counts, though. It doesn't...
You just called it a button.
Is it?
It is a button.
I don't even think... No, I don't agree. I do not agree. I do not agree with it.
It is a button.
Yeah, that's a pretty cheese dick way to...
Yeah. Fuck you, Patrick.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you
Stick
guys
your
tonight.
dick in a blender.
If you guys think that the reset button is not a button, even though Tim literally said, are you counting the fucking reset button? Then tweet us or go check out everything we do, including our other podcast, Game Pass Anonymous, over at coldnorthpro.com. And make sure to leave us a rating and review wherever you found us. Subscribe on whatever platform you found us on. We'll be back next week, hopefully, talking about whatever happens within the next 7 days. So until then, reset.
Gaming pornography.
Whatever, Blender Dick.
Tim's mad.
I'm pissed.
You're only mad because you forgot it.
No! Who uses it? When did you ever use that?
That
Have
doesn't
you ever
stop it
pressed
from
that
existing.
button?
I actually have.
I have never once in my life used that.
I did because I found out it was there. I've never needed it.